And just to go back to what Dennis McDonough said yesterday, he was asked on a number of occasions about boots on the ground, and he reiterated that you're really looking at Iraqi and Syrian boots on the ground, and potentially some other partners that may come into the mix. But you know, you've heard some critics up on Capitol Hill say that that's just too limiting. Any second thoughts about just taking that completely off the table? Are you saying that will never occur, U.S. combat boots on the ground? I mean, what if this escalates and becomes a longer, more protracted battle than you anticipated?
Jim, I can say definitively that the President has ruled out sending American boots on the ground to be engaged in a combat role in Iraq and in Syria. The strategy that the President has put forward to deal with the threat posed by ISIL in Iraq and Syria is substantially different from the strategy that was put in place in advance of the last conflict in Iraq. What we're considering here is more akin to the kinds of counterterrorism operations that have been successfully implemented in some other regions of the world. In those other countries, using some of our military capability, using our support for local fighters on the ground who could take the fight in their own country to the extremist organizations that are operating there, and building up the local government structures of some of these other nations. That's been a successful strategy for mitigating the threat and even degrading the threat that is posed by.
You've been successful.
Well, that there are places like
in Yemen.
well, those are actually two of the countries that I was just going to cite. There is no doubt that in these two places, the United States has deployed a strategy. Let me finish. Where the United States has deployed a strategy. That strategy has been specifically to work with local governments to build up the capacity of those central governments, to work with local fighters to make sure that we're increasing their capacity so that they can take the fight on the ground to these extremist organizations. And where necessary, American military might can be deployed in support of those fighters on the ground to degrade the capacity of those individual organizations. And just a couple of weeks ago, we saw an effort in Somalia led by Somalian fighters to take out the leader of al-Shabaab in that country. That will have the effect of degrading and ultimately defeating al-Shabaab. Is that mission completed? Of course not. They continue to serve as a threat. But there is no doubt that this strategy has been successful.
Those countries as success stories, though.
What I'm holding them up as a place.
Successes here and there, but you wouldn't hold them up as success.
They are a place where the American counterterrorism strategy that's been put in place by President Obama has succeeded in degrading the threat that those organizations pay to the United States. And we intend to implement an analogous strategy against ISIL.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sam.